Welcome to the football show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, in today alongside Allan Ruff and Scott Allan. Great to see the two of them. You can tell the weather is hot, hot, hot. Ruffy's still got the variation in the shorts, and I can only look at this as a real error in what he's wearing. You've got the trousers on today when you really should have the shorts on you.
Nah, I wouldn't get the legs out on camera, to be fair, Peter, but these are a nice light jeans, so
There you are.
summer fitting.
You can't hide money. And don't forget, if you want to, you can shop and look like Scott Allan on Freeman's catalogue. You pay it up monthly and you can look as dangerous as he does. I've got the guys here with us. We've got lots to talk about in football as well, as ever. Rangers never too far away from our thoughts with regards to games, and it seems to be at times the club that keeps on giving, because it's a performance against Plzeň that gets them through, and surely that should be the most important thing. But there are still major worries that Rangers fans are looking at and the manager is not happy with. He basically, after the game, had a go at the back line, two players in particular he must have, because he said Butland was okay. He was happy with Butland. He made 7 or 8 great saves. And he said Giga and Suter. So that means that Jeffy and Tavernier were the two that he's had a problem with.
And there, I think it kind of speaks for itself, because they're the two that haven't been in terms of continuity in that Rangers defence. Obviously, we've seen Tavernier drop out the side, and the same with Jeffy. We've seen obviously Max Aaron's over there, so you can tell that he's really not happy with the two areas of the park. But I think in terms of isolation, it was all about getting through. But performances ultimately leads to winning leagues and winning cups. So I think there will be a cause for concern there from Russell Martin.
Yeah, it's getting those players in. Ruffy, we've already discussed last week the number of shots that were getting fired in it against Rangers, crosses coming into the box. 76 shots in, I think, 6 games is a heck of a lot of traffic going towards Rangers that you wouldn't associate with a Rangers side that was capable of mounting a challenge or capable of getting to a group stage in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think it's very evident, that Jack Buckland, I always think it's a worry when the star man's the goalkeeper. It means the goalkeeper, he's getting, as you said, far too many shots. And I don't know if you remember the success that Celtic had when they went into Europe against quality sides. They always had a bank of 2 or 3 in front of the back four. I don't think that there's anything in that Rangers team that's defensively for midfield. I think they all want to go forward. But it's very evident any ball put into the box is a danger, because nobody's attacking it, nobody's defending it. I think if you're playing against them, if you do your homework, all you do is just miss out the 2 centre-halves and attack the 2 full-backs, because neither of the two of them can defend.
And that's where the goals are being lost, Scott, because centre-half to the back, you had one occasion where the ball goes into the back of the net and John Suter just looks as if to say, oh, what are you doing behind me? He's run off you.
Yeah, I think you can look at that area in terms of where the goals have came in the last few weeks, but ultimately I think the biggest concern is that volume of shots. I think we've maybe seen since the Panathinaikos game, they should have been punched through the middle as well in terms of their build-up. We obviously see the 2 number 8s obviously come wide, they look to play through the middle, and the amount of times it's been cut out, and whether it's Butland or Suter or Jigga's had a last-ditch tackle to obviously stop the shot. It's been, that's what I mean, over the course of a season, if that's to continue happening, Rangers will lose a lot more games than they should. So yes, the crossballs are a danger, but also in terms of the build-up, the structure, for me, looking at it, it just seems a bit off, whether they're out of sync or yes, there's new players coming into the side and trying to adapt to what it's like at Rangers and under Russell Martin. But structurally, I think out of possession, they look really, really vulnerable.
How many do you think they need?
We're back to having the same conversation we've had over the last 3 years. We said this in January, we said at the start of the season, we see Ant-Man come in, you see Gassama in, a bit of positivity there. But ultimately, the problems still lie in defence, and that's in the full-back areas. I think in terms of in front of the back four in that 6th position, which would be Rothwell, is it going to be Raskin? The fact that he can't quite make his mind up tells you that he's obviously something there that he's not quite happy with. So, and then you get to striker. Is Dessa's going to be there? Is he not? Is Iggerman going to be there? So I think still another 3, but it has to be 3 who come into the team and make the side better.
Or does Max Aaron solve that problem at right back?
Not for me. No. Not for me, no. I think, I know he's saying he's carried an injury, but I was very disappointed in him against Dundee. I thought he had a poor game, even over at that other side of the park, but I think they still need better.
Do they offload Jeffy?
Yes. Yes.
And for me, I think there's a problem in the middle of the park. I'm going to get back to you on it in a moment, which I'll talk about. But just briefly, with that, the game could have been oh so different, because when you look, 21 of the shots that were reined in Rangers against Viktoria Plzeň were inside the box. They were coming from inside the box. The goalkeeper has come back flying. I mean, he made a save last night, which was absolutely top drawer.
Yeah, that's what's been happening. He's been making the saves. That's a sign of a good goalkeeper, making the saves at the right time, the saves that take the pressure off you. And Rangers have been fortunate. They've always got a goal at a good time. They've always got a goal. They were 1-0. They'd be looking for the second one. The second one would have been panic stations, but Rangers got the goal, and that sort of just hit them on the back foot a wee bit, and obviously they never scored till late on. But you're right, they're playing far too open. There's no any. See, when Rangers go and play like Motherwell, there's banks of 4 and 4. I think when Rangers are defending, they're not defending properly.
Yeah, the midfield for me lacks somebody with height and physicality. I think they need somebody. I know it sounds strange to start looking at the makeup of a player, but I think they need a taller player in the middle of the park, but somebody with a wee bit more aggression about them. If there is unrest with Raskin, he's not happy with the position that he's getting to play. Is he edging for a move? That's one of the things that's going on in the background, and you're saying to yourself, well, if he's not getting his favoured position, Connor Barron hasn't made a telling contribution. And you're saying, well, what other options does he have? Because as well as saying, you've highlighted the 2 fullback areas, which the manager highlighted first and foremost. But the other thing about it is quite simply, if you're a manager worth your salt, you build a team from the back, good goalkeeper, good back four. But the other thing that makes a really good team is a midfield that understands that they, like the 2 forwards, have a role in suddenly getting a shape, and they also have defensive responsibilities, Scott. And it can't just be about 21. Ruffy said that they like to bomb forward. It can't just be about 21 of the shots are coming from inside the box. There has to be fault lines in the front, middle to get to the defence.
Yeah, but I think in terms of the shots, even when Rangers do put guys forward, I think you still should have, most teams in world football have a 4 or 5 behind the ball, and you work off that structure even if you are attacking. So if one side's that player, the opposite side would come round, tuck round, and you maybe, if you do obviously turn over the ball, the way your shape is kind of forces them to have to go to a certain area, but your shape forces that.
So they're not in that shape?
No. I think in terms of, you're obviously touching on in terms of physicality and aggression. For that number 6 position though, it's easy to go and find one like that, but at the same time, when you're a team who's looking to build through your number 6 and be progressive, you're then having to find a player with the height, the physicality, aggression, and then someone who's very purposeful on the ball in terms of that 6 who can get out their feet, play forward. In terms of that bracket now in football, there's not lots of them.
You know who worked it to a T in European football, and they used to be on the studio? Neil Lennon. In European football, he just sat in front of the back 4 and he just cut up everything. He just stopped everything, played a simple 10-yard ball here, 10-yard ball here, and it took the pressure off the back 4 because their midfield weren't getting to their back 4 because he was destroying it.
But he also understood the defensive responsibilities. And whatever way you look at it, you can't just play 21 shots down to 2 fullbacks. There's a responsibility in the middle of that park that I think is leaving gaps for people to get at you. Your forces, if they're not keeping their shape, then there's a responsibility. The manager has to, I think, the buck stops with the manager. He has to work more on that to try and get that shape. If you say it's not there, then they're not sticking to the plan.
But at the same time, I think the manager can give as much information as he wants, and I think he alluded on this a couple of weeks ago. They have specific jobs within that structure to do, and I think it was after the Motherwell game he spoke about guys not doing that. That's out of his control. All he can do is replace them, which in fairness he has. Obviously made the changes for the home leg and it worked in their favour.
Yeah.
He stuck with them Saturday, he wasn't happy, he made his changes last night. Yes, to get through the tie, but the performance, and listen, Russell Martin strikes me as a guy, he knows that performance and consistency in performance and taking on the information he's given, if he wanted to challenge Celtic at the end of the season, the performance has to be there. So it's okay getting by one leg at a time and nicking through, but the performance isn't there, and I think that's a huge worry. But the manager, purely based on his interviews. You know that he's giving them the information he's won. I just think it's down to players not carrying out the instructions.
Okay, one little positive that I think we should highlight is Lyall Cameron getting his goal. Great for the lad. I think he's been a real positive for them in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, listen, he's a player that I really admired any time I seen him play last year. He was a really young kid when I was at Dundee, and there was a lot of talk about his qualities. I think it was James McPake actually coached him in the 18s and then brought him into the first team. But what do you get off him? You get work rate, a kid who's wanting to listen, very coachable, and makes great runs. Like most players, it's dead easy to hang out. See the goalie gets just dead easy to hang out the box and wait for the cutback. He gambles, he gets in an area, and ultimately that was the goal that managed to settle Rangers down and get them through. So he's got a lot of good attributes, and considering he's getting in there, there's a lot of pressure on him as well coming from Dundee. I think with the Scottish boys, you don't get as much leeway as the ones coming in for bigger fees. So I think he's applied himself fantastically, and I think he's one of the kids that all coaches like to have in their team.
Yeah. Scott said exactly everything that Tony Docherty said last week when we had Tony Docherty, and everything you said about that young boy is what Tony Docherty said.
Yeah,
when he was the manager there.
Of course, that's Scott watches the show. But the other thing I was going to say to you, Ruffy, is let's have no more talk of, the SPFL just doesn't back us. They don't let us, take games and take them off the schedule so that we can prepare for Europe. It's an absolute disgrace. There's got to be some kind of conspiracy theory here, or they just don't like us. Let's have no more chat from any club on that, because quite simply, Rangers have reinstated the game against St Mirren. There's two things for that. They psychologically are thinking to themselves, listen, we better win that game. We better not psychologically be in a situation where at Ibrox we could be, losing to Celtic, going 10 points clear before you're out of August. So are they being a little bit arrogant, thinking they're going to go to St Mirren and win?
I think they are a wee bit. The Rangers have been very, very vocal in any European games away from home, and what they had before it, saying they don't have time to prepare. This was an ideal opportunity to back that theory up. I think every club would want a free weekend with a big Europe, particularly this European tie that's coming up, which is so important with the money that's there to be won at the end of it. So it's a strange one. Obviously the other thing you've got is picking up injuries. There's Dessers picked up another injury. If they picked up more injuries against St Mirren, it's a very, very strange decision for where I am.
I think they have to play the game. For me, I think the fact that domestically it hasn't got off to the start that we would want to, I think he wants to get as much information, much game time into the players who are obviously trying to settle at the club.
Would you gamble on Rangers going to St Mirren and winning at the moment?
No, I don't think you can. I think obviously seeing St Mirren at Celtic Park, very stubborn, very resilient, real physical attributes about them, and that bit of pace as well up front. Obviously not a fantastic result for St. I was actually really looking forward to St Mirren Motherwell game at the weekend because the two styles, seeing how the two styles was matched up, but obviously that resulted in a 0-0 draw. But I think that's the last couple of years it's been a difficult tie for Rangers, so I don't expect anything less. But I think at this time you might have Asgard back, you might have Mikey Moore back. I think it gives them time to get minutes in before the Bruges game. Yeah,
I'm at this moment, because of the games that I've been to, incredibly enthusiastic about the other clubs.
Yes,
because I'm going to games and I'm watching, I'm thinking, and constantly when I'm going to the games, I'm thinking, right, on September 1st, Scott Allan and Alan Rough and Tam McManus and Hugh McDonald and Alison McConnell, we're all going to have to sit down and say, right, the transfer window's closed. This is who we think is going to win the league. This is who we think is going to finish second and third. And this is who we think is going to be in the playoff or relegated. And right now, I'm really going from one extreme to the other with it. I'm lucky enough that I've been able to see two belter games at the weekend as well. Livingston against Falkirk was great because Livingston played some lovely football. Falkirk did as well, but they just had no cutting edge. Livingston have got the Indian sign over them. And then secondary to that, I watched Dundee United Hearts, which was just an absolute joy to watch because there was not only so many subplots and the players that I was watching that I enjoyed, but it was like a basketball game. Yeah. It was like...
Not that the two managers would have been happy with that,
but no, absolutely not.
Entertaining.
And if I could tell you this, Scott, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I'm going to ask you if you can go on YouTube and just put in The War, okay? And then underneath The War, put Hagler versus Hearns, first round. Okay,
I've seen it.
It's just magnificent, and that was Dundee United Hearts You hit me, I'll hit you back. You hit me, I'll have a go. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I think looking at Dundee United, obviously coming off the back of a real gruelling European tie away to Rapid Vienna, so you didn't quite know. You know, well, year after year we say the teams coming back from Europe really struggle. I looked at Hibs first half. They were outstanding. Hibs were unplayable in the first half up until the 44th minute, by the way. In the same way, Dundee United looked full of energy. Obviously, young Owen Sturton coming in as well. I think he's one to watch over this season. I think he'll have an impact in this United team. And Hearts, full of desire, everything you'd expect from Derek McInnes. I don't think they're quite there yet in terms of where he would want them in terms of style-wise, but he's getting everything off them. Obviously, goals for set pieces with their new set piece coach. It just shows you how valuable that is in modern day football. And Stuart Finlay, listen, you can have the Jamestown analytics all you want, but sometimes a manager's knowing someone who you trust, bring them in, and he's now obviously repaying his manager. I think he's joint top goal scorer. So
yeah. Even he can't believe it.
Even he. What about the first header?
Yeah.
On the way back, and he manages to find the corner.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was a great game, but I think between Dundee United, Hibs, Hearts, I'm not going to mention Aberdeen obviously at this moment in time from what I've seen, but teams have got better.
Ruffy, Scott and I are going to have a real ding-dong battle because he thinks Hibs are the better side right now. Some people will say he's been a little bit biased because he had a Hibs jersey on for a long period of his career. I'm going to say Hearts, I think, are for me looking like the real deal. We're all up for getting egg in our faces.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have played in Old Firm derbies, and you know, they can go either way. Moments
Edinburgh
in
derbies.
Edinburgh, I mean, you know, decisions on the day, we rub of the green, things like that can happen. I don't think there'll be much between the two teams. I think it'll be individuals again. Obviously, Shanklin's back, a big player for Hearts in these games, but I think they'll be exciting to watch. I think that they'll be end to end. I don't think either of the two of them will sit in and try and not lose the game. So I don't know what date it is and where the first one is, but is it Tynecastle, Easter Road?
I'm not sure what it is.
Anyway, they're going to be exciting, and the good thing about this year is both of them seem to have got their act together, whereas last year the two of them were pretty awful. Pretty awful.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that in mind, you know, Hearts, a couple of good players that I like. I like Braga.
You're going to say that.
Yeah, he's just anybody with a wee bit of a touch and skill.
But it's not even that. He seems to be involved in everything, even when he's not doing masterful things in the ball. He's involved, whether it's a tackle, whether it's buying a foul, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So I think he was the one the fans were getting excited about, obviously, through the Premier Sports Cup phase. We played him at East Kilbride, and he was in a friendly one night, and he looked really bright. But seeing him take that form into the league is, I think Hearts have been crying out for a player like that for a few years now.
Tynecastle, 4th of October, Hearts versus Hibs.
That's Sunday.
Hey?
Yeah, well, that's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
Oh.
Oh no, it's a Saturday.
Oh.
4th of October. But it'll get moved.
It will get moved.
Yeah, it'll probably.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. But if anything, you know, when you look at the players that, I think he's probably, if I was looking at, you know, who they're going to sign, Hibs and Hearts, and where they need, if they need anybody that they're going to get in before the window closes, you know, I think they'll probably, Hearts will look at the right back for cover. You know, maybe.
He's not happy there, is he? You can tell. I think he changed the shape twice.
And he's got Milne and Kingsley on the left-hand side.
Milne's been superb.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Braga, but I'll tell you who I really like at the moment, I don't know what he said to him, and I don't know, I think he's almost certainly said to him, this is your role now, you're the linchpin, you're the number 6, Cammy Devlin. Devlin for me was absolutely magnificent at the weekend because not only I like him because he's a wee bit nasty, but he comes and builds the game and gave an out to people, which I didn't see in him before.
No.
He's coming off the two centre-halves and saying, give me the ball.
No, I think that was probably the thing that I think fans got frustrated with previously, was going from that intense way with his pressing, then when he did land on the ball, then calm down. I think you can see that's improved.
Yes.
He'd maybe rush it and give the ball away, and then he'd have to go and try and win it back again. So I think he's started the season well. I think the right back position, obviously you've seen he makes the changes at half-time. Steinwender comes on, plays it right back. There's no doubt that Derek McInnes will be trying to strengthen in that area. Harry Milne, as we says there, I think he's come in lovely left foot. But then I look at Hibs and I go, Kieran Bowie, he's been a revelation since this season so far.
McGrath looks a good fit.
McGrath, he's got the quality in the ball, but he also gives you that threat from set pieces. Nicky Cadden still to come back, so they now get a right-footed set piece taker who can put a ball in, as we see with obviously Rocky Bashiri's goal at the weekend.
Nicky Cadden's the best crosser of the ball in Scotland, bar none.
Big shout, but
give me another one. Left peg, and
it's
every time he delivers,
it's an absolute one.
every time he delivers it, you think to yourself, where does a really good striker, and you've watched and played with the best, a really good striker looks and says, if you put that ball anywhere between 6 yard and penalty box, Nicky Cadden, he always delivers it into that area. It's brilliant. If you're a striker worth your salt, you're in there, you're putting your head in.
It's because you get that, the old school, I don't want to use the word old school in fact. So remember in the 90s, wingers used to just touch the ball at their feet, use the defender's leg to whip round into a space.
That's Davy Provan.
So strikers don't need to check their run 3 times because there's not 4 different chops. It's out his feet, using the guy's foot and wrap round for the space between the goalkeeper and the defence. And for a striker, it's like worth your weight in gold because you're getting one check and you're away. You get a chance of scoring. I think when you get Nicky Cadden back fit on that side with Kieran Bowie,
It's a great argument, isn't it? Yeah. It's a good one, you know. I love watching the two Edinburgh sides. I'm just going to say on the Dundee United thing, obviously I'm going to go to Tannadice. I hope they can win the game because I'm so impressed. For me, and this is where I think we were talking about it, you know, when we're talking about Rangers looking for someone who's taller, who's got a bit of energy, who can drive forward, the boy Kamara for me looks as if he's going to be a player for United. He, in the middle of the park, is tall, he's got that kind of a gangly look about him, but he can play, he can pass. His pass for Dolcek's goal was sublime. He took out 3 players.
Did you think it was that good, that pass?
Oh, it was a great pass. By the way,
I think listen, hats off for playing it, but I think that it's kind of glaring. I think, you know what actually makes that pass is the speed of Dolcek's run.
Yeah, absolutely, but can I tell you something?
See, as a player on the ball in that situation, it's dead easy for the winger just to stand out. See the fact he goes so sharp, you naturally just play the pass because the movement's so quick. So there's no thought process, it's bang, and you just naturally play the ball. It's instinctive.
Yeah, you're talking to the wrong person here. He sees that pass.
No.
He sees that pass before everybody else.
I'm glad you said that because I'm just about to say to him, away and give me peace, because quite simply, good midfielders, and I'm talking about midfielders who can play a ball forward instead of the guys now who are getting $2,000 to play sideways.
And the rest.
Exactly. But good midfielders, like yourself, one of your greatest strengths when you were playing was that you would not take 2 touches if need be. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that you did well, and really well for Hibs, you know, when you were fit, was you looked and you could see a run between centre half, left back, or centre half and right back that you think your automatic thought process was, can I play this between the lines and get that person running onto it?
Yep.
And that was your strength. And that part of football for midfielders, you think it was a glaringly obvious pass. Some people can't glaringly obvious play a 10-yard pass. Do you know what I mean?
I can't argue with that. I just like to give credit to the wingers because I said it to one of our young wingers last night about that speed of run. And the speed of run can only be 5 yards, but it's players. I used to go off people's body language. So if somebody's shaped up to get the ball off me and they're kind of closed off, you know, they don't really want the ball. Whereas when a winger makes the movements as quick as that, me personally, and obviously the boy Kamara at the weekend, you naturally just play the pass. So it's just instinctive.
But I thought he was great at he was a driving force in the middle of the park. Suddenly, if he got the ball, you know,
he travels,
he's going forward and he can make the tackles. So I thought, you know, he's the type of player. If you're talking about players that are out there, he's the type of player I think Rangers need. They need some.
He's a better player than Diomande.
No, I like Diomande. Diomande, but he's not aggressive. You know,
he's just not quite got going this season for Diomande. And I thought it was going to be a big year for Diomande, and it still
could be.
See, in terms of that United team as well, I think you've got to give huge credit to Craig Sibbald. I thought he was outstanding in both games in that area of the park.
Yes, I think Scottish players are wasting Dundee United. Do you not? I love Sims. We've had him on the show.
Yeah, we have.
When he was a youngster at Falkirk. Yeah, absolutely, a good footballer. Yeah. I remember his dad sent me an email saying, you know, he scored a brilliant goal for Falkirk, and he was only a kid at the time. And he says we never get the chance to hear your commentary on you know, we always hear it on big games in McFadden.
Oh, tell me, you've just stitched his dad up. His dad's not asked you for a commentary on the goal, has he?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But by the way, because it was a brilliant goal, and you know, it's like Robbie, I love anybody scoring a great goal, and I sent it out to him because it was great. He was only a young kid at the time, but Sim's a really good guy and a good player. I think he deserves credit. I hope Dundee United can do the job against Partizan. It's not as straightforward as everybody makes out. And to be fair to Jim Goodwin, he did mention, Ruffy, they've got 7 players that will be pushing for first team starting who are out of the team.
Well, that's healthy.
It's great, absolutely great. So I can see them winning.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is you've already touched on it. They've got that many foreign players. You know, you would think they would know how to play that style of football from where they've come from. So, you know, I think it'll be a tense night. I think the support will have a big part to play. I thought they were making that. The first, it's massive, but it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting.
But they are a half-decent side now. I think Jim Goodwin deserves credit. I cannot believe for the life of me, I don't know what it is, whether it's his agent or whether there's something going on in the background. I cannot believe the chairman of Dundee United has not turned round and said to him, you're in the last 10 months of your deal, let's get it done. You can see the way the team's playing. You can see what he's achieved to get them European football. You can see the calibre of player and how he's managed to gel it all together. Now, obviously, he can go through a bad run, I accept that. But I think, collectively, over a period of 2 years, Jim Goodwin deserves a contract and deserves it now.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue with that. I think, obviously, coming up from the Championship and how consistent they were last year, obviously making Europe, then to go into Europe, come through Strassen, and now they have obviously Rapid Vienna at home at Tannadice. I imagine atmosphere is going to be electric. That first goal going to be so important. But I think from those two sides to the story, so whether that's manager maybe delaying or the board just waiting to see how things start the season. So I think...
Well, they're waiting to see if they get past Rapid Vienna. Really?
I just think ultimately things come down to 2 parties, not just one. So I think there'll be kind of more than meets the eye with that one. But you would imagine that. And
I'm just being facetious, right? But you've uttered the line there, and I'm thinking, Jim, Scott, Allan reckons you're stalling on the deal and playing a bit of jiggery pokery. I'm only kidding.
These things happen in football.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. You're right. You know, it could be some little stickler in the lines, Robbie.
I think as long as he keeps the fans on board. It's the fans that seem to turn very, very quickly on the manager.
Dundee people.
No, just Dundee United fans.
Well, it's Dundee.
No, we had to go to Dundee yesterday. We're not doing it again.
Yeah, the notorious, by the way.
No, I just feel that...
after 2 weeks when I was up.
Yeah, but you're hopeless. Ruffy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to go for them to win.
Yeah, and the Hibs 2-0, and by the way, the Partizan Belgrade are saying, no, we were the better team.
No way.
This is what's coming out of their camp. We were the better team. We can go and cause a shock and knock them out.
I think them coming after Hibs suits Hibs. I think Hibs on the counter attack. I think them coming out the traps, looking to push guys forward. I think that suits. That will play into Hibs' hands. Obviously, I think they won 7-2 at the weekend, so obviously they'll come here with their tails up. But Hibs is just not an easy game for anyone at this moment in time.
If you're talking about atmosphere at Tynecastle and Tannadice, and Easter Road for me equally is up there when they get going. You know, sometimes I feel as if you have to...
Devastating that Michelin game, wasn't it?
I know. But
as much as it was a moment of...
When he hits the worldie, you're flat as a pancake, aren't you? You know, and I think somebody had actually, I was going to say, because they don't play records at Easter Road, but if you were in the 80s when Ruffy was playing, he'd had just been putting on the Proclaimers and they went, oh yeah, there's an overhead, smash the record, we're not playing Sunshine and Leith, but I think there will be. I think they're going to get through.
Well, I think even the way they obviously lost that time, the last minute, the reaction, obviously going to play Partizan, like real confidence, should have been more. More, obviously. Yes, they do go down to 10 men, but I just feel... that team talk speaks for itself. Then, if that's the noise coming out of the Partizan side, I think they come and try to really get after Hibs. I think that suits Hibs.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thoroughly enjoyed the chat. If you enjoyed the chat, now why not subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Monday to Friday, the football show is absolutely free. And right across our social media, you're getting managers, players, preview and post-match reaction after the games on all our social media, absolutely free. There is PLZ Premium, where we've got some more great content for you. We've got competitions aplenty. In fact, have a look at the competition we've got. If you hit the PLZ Premium subscription, you've got a chance to win this fabulous prize.
Subscribe to PLZ Premium today and you will be in our prize draw to win this fabulous Scott McTominay replica Napoli shirt. PLZ Premium is offering additional content from your favourite football channel. Subscribe to PLZ Premium today and you'll be in with a chance of winning this fabulous football shirt.
Scott McTominay, it looks fantastic. Napoli top, absolutely magnificent. Somebody's going to be having that in the envelope. Open it out. Hopefully it's the right size, or you're going to have to go out running. But nevertheless, it looks great, Ruffy, doesn't it?
Ballon d'Or nomination.
Yeah.
You know, even more. I'm not saying he'll win it, but certainly a nominee is fantastic, and the people that are in it.
Okay, just before we finish, Lennon Miller off to Udinese. What do you make of it? He's a midfielder with. We've got high hopes that he'll be a Scotland international for a good few years to come. What do you make of the move?
Yeah, I think his destination was always abroad. Didn't quite think it'd have been Udinese. If I'm honest, I felt there would have been a few other teams there that maybe suited him, but I think with the money that obviously Motherwell were asking for, then it probably came down to a handful of clubs, but a player I've admired for a long time.
What do you admire about him?
I just like the bravery on the ball. He looks like he's got that football IQ as well. You go play in that midfield, I think there's no question you take him out the Motherwell team. Do you know what's frustrating? Because see the way Motherwell are playing there out, it just suit him to an absolute T. I think we'd have seen even more of him, but I feel going to the continent's the right decision. I think he'll become more all-rounded as a football player, and I think we'll reap the rewards in terms of the national team, because I did feel when he made his debut, you can see the difference. He can play 1-2 touch. He was looking to play forward, really brave. So let's hope all goes well for him. I wish him good luck.
Yeah, 77 games for Motherwell, and now a chance to play in the Serie A and play a different style, learn a different culture, and grow as a person as well, and maybe see other midfielders that do things differently.
Yeah, and they might see a lot of things in him that they like. Because listen, I think in this country, when we see obviously a young Scottish talent come through who can really handle the ball, play under pressure and be brave, it's what we like. I think we were out with Callum McGregor. We don't have a lot of them actually playing in the Premiership at this moment in time. So for me, I think it's a great opportunity for him, and like I said, I hope we can reward as a national team for it.
Yeah, if you get a chance, we're going to speak to you about doing your top 5 midfielders in the Scottish Premiership. I want you to get your thinking cap on. It's going to be a little feature, top 5, okay? And why they're in your top 5. So get your thinking cap on. Won't do that for you, Ruffy, for goalkeepers, because you're a hard man to please. He thought Brannan's goal at the weekend, the keeper should have done better.
No way.
Just got to move his feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coming.
It's coming high.
It's coming, and it's coming, and it's coming, and I'm going to be moving back. But I thought I left it too late.
Yeah, I looked at it again, and
Let's take Nen away for his shot.
Honestly,
You just have?
No, absolutely. I looked at it 3 or 4 times after he said that to me, and I went, "No way! There's no
You don't
way."
expect him even to hit it?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and you could see him watching it all the way, you know, and he just hit it clean as a whistle.
Absolutely. Ruffy, hard man to please. So is Scott. We'll find out what quality midfielders he likes, and you'll see that on our channel as well. Hit the subscribe button on our YouTube. Hit the subscribe to PLZ Premium, where you'll open up a whole load of exclusive content as well. Thank you for joining us on the football show today, for listening and watching.